Good morning, chickens. Today is August 13th. Saturday, that means it's Beehive Day. So let's go ahead and crack it open and see what they're doing. Well, either I've gotten weaker or the bees have gotten stronger. But they've glued that top cover down so well that I cannot get it off. So I'm gonna come out mid-afternoon when the sun heats it up, and then it'll be a lot easier to get off. But they've got that stuck down really well. I'm impressed. All right, I'm back for round two. Let's see if I can pry this beehive open. It's been pretty cloudy all day, so I don't have high hopes that propolis is the glue they kind of use to glue everything down tight. It probably didn't heat up enough where I can pry it real easy, but let's give it a shot and see what happens. Ooh, it's giving away just a little bit. Got it. That side looks beautiful. The other side's not capped. So this is probably about another 18 pounds of honey up here, which is quite a bit. The super is basically full minus the last two frames here. Let me show you the other side real quick. So that's just not capped versus capped. So I could harvest it, but I'm just gonna leave it for the bees this year unless they happen to go crazy within the next month or two. All right, let's get this box off. They glue these boxes together, so you really got to kind of pry these apart too. Wedge it in there. Oh, that's good and heavy. Okay. Super. Let's check a couple frames in top deep. Beautiful laying pattern. So that is all capped over brood. Kind of fuzzy. That's how you can tell the difference between brood and honey. So both sides of these frames, all capped over brood. That is gorgeous. So a little empty, but definitely starting to fill in a little bit on capped brood. Backside looks just about the same. All right, we got some eggs in here, as well as some kept over brood larvae. So that's looking nice, but they're pretty light on honey in these boxes, which isn't terrible because they do have a super, but I'd still like to see a little more honey in here. Now once I take this top deep off, the bees usually get kind of mad at me, but we'll go ahead and dig a little further. So I can kind of see in between the frames a little bit, and they look pretty light. I'm seeing a lot of open cells, mostly in the middle, on the outside. So a little bit of honey, but once again, not as much as I would like to see. This time of year, the queen slows down a little bit on egg laying. Resources are a little more scarce, so it's a good time to start feeding your bees. All right, y'all, I just got a call from a friend that has a chicken hanging out in their backyard. It's been there a couple days, no one's claimed it, and they can't take care of it, so I'm here to rescue it. the chickens are about up. I think it's maybe 8 o'clock-ish, something like that. Didn't really look. So we got the chicken and we named her Annie, or my friend named her Annie. What's this? I'm not going to put her out here with all the chickens just yet, so I'm going to grab the dog crate and keep her separate for a couple days just to make sure that she doesn't have any issues before introducing her to everybody. So I just had to run out here real quick, grab some bedding so I can get her set up for the evening. That's a lot of food you're eating, girl. How about you take a break? Okay, it's a little after 9:30 and Annie is all set up. Made her a little perch. So she's enjoying that. I'm gonna give her maybe one more little snack for the night and then call it good there. I don't want her to gorge herself because she is just eating non-stop. My friend actually said she's been out there for about a month, only eating bugs, berries, and grass. So basically just scavenging whatever she could find. So yeah, she hasn't really had a decent meal in a long while, so that's why she's scarfing it so hard. So gonna keep an eye on her, make sure she doesn't overeat, and make sure that everything's good for her and that she's happy. Howdy y'all, today is August 15th and I have a hard copy of my soil sample results, so I figure it's a good time to go over them now since I'm generally not sitting in front of my computer. So the soil test, basically, I had some questions from family and friends on that. It's not telling me if the ground is organic or not. The farmland that I'm currently in the process of purchasing, I can guarantee you wasn't farmed organically. So in order to be considered organic, the ground kind of has to wait for 3 years. So it's kind of in a transition period. So nothing was planted or sprayed on it this year. So there's 1 year down. There's 2 more years of transition. And then after that, it would be considered organic. But only if I go through a slew of paperwork. And I'm still undecided if I'm going to do that yet or not. Chickens are playing with the paper down here. Quit that. So yeah, the soil test here is basically just telling me what sort of nutrients are in the soil. So I'm going to pop it up on the screen so you guys can follow along, and then I'll kind of explain some of the things that I'm looking at here. So first thing up, on the left there it says organic matter and it's at 3.5. That's low. I kind of talked about that in the previous video. But it's not as low as I was expecting it to be, which is good. So it's at 3.5. I'd like to see it around 8, but organic matter takes a long time to build up. So 3.5 isn't a bad starting spot. I thought it'd be around the 1% mark or less. So basically the organic matter is the soil makeup, and it also kind of lets me know how much water holding potential that the ground has. The higher the percent of organic matter, the more water that ground is going to hold. If that ground's holding more water, I'm going to be able to have plants growing deeper and better. They'll be able to stand up to a drought better. The soil quality will be a lot better. It'll be more like a moist chocolate cake consistency versus clay. So at 3.5, it's pretty clay-like out there. It's not very pretty looking soil. So that is a big number I'm looking at. There's a couple other little things: potassium, magnesium, calcium. Those are measured in parts per million. The magnesium's a little bit on the high end. I'm not super concerned about that. I think I'll be able to balance those things out. The next number I'm most interested in though is the soil pH. So you can see it at 6.7 there. That's a pretty decent range right there. So I'm happy with 6 to 7. Anywhere in that range is fine. So if you get a pH range outside of that, it basically can just tie up nutrients so the plants can't get, for example, phosphorus from the soil, because that pH is so high. It's just not allowing the plants to get everything that they can get out of that soil. So I was happy to see that the soil pH is at least correct. And then down there on the bottom kind of table, they tell you sulfur, zinc, manganese, iron, copper, boron. I just kind of wanted to know those going in. They have the little L, M, H, low, medium, and highs. Sulfur, that's just a hard one to keep in. I'll probably add some sulfur to it. So if you look on the next page here, they give you some recommendations. I vaguely just said I'm going to put some pasture in there because it's been a soybean corn rotation for who knows how many years. So switching over to grass is going to be a little bit different for that land. But they're recommending to put 140 pounds per acre of nitrogen on the ground. They're recommending 35 pounds an acre of phosphate. It kind of goes on down, and see all the recommendations there. So I'm not actually going to put any of that down right off the bat. I'm not going to be using a fertilizer on this. What I'm going to do is plant nitrogen fixing crops. So I'm going to put in a cover crop. I'm going to talk with a friend of mine to figure out exactly what specific plants, but right now I'm kind of leaning towards any of the clovers. Clovers are really good at pulling nitrogen out of the air, and then they fix it and get it back in the ground. So clover is really good for that. Alfalfa is good for that. Peas, things like that. So that's how I'm going to get my nitrogen. I'm going to let the plants do all the work instead of just slapping on some nitrogen with a tractor and some random nitrogen from somewhere. And I think that'll help a lot of things. The other recommendations here, we'll just kind of see what it looks like over time. The chickens are really good at putting nutrients back into the ground, so they're good at nutrient cycling. So yeah, I basically just wanted to see where I was starting with this soil test. Not necessarily that I'm going to do all these quick fixes here to try and get everything perfect right off the bat, but it definitely helps. I knew I'd probably need nitrogen, but you just never know how much. So yeah, that's basically what the soil test is. It was definitely interesting to see, and I'm glad to see that it's not as terrible as I thought it was going to be, for sure. So that's definitely a starting spot. I'll probably test the soil again in another 3 to 5 years, and we can kind of see the progress from there. So it'll be a while until we talk about the next soil test, but for now this is the baseline, and there's definitely some room for improvement, and I cannot wait to start working on it. We're getting down to the bottom on feed here. I like emptying this completely out before I add any more feed, just so it doesn't get old in the bottom and stale, and you only get the new food on top. So I'll probably be adding another bag tomorrow. Good morning, everybody. Today is August 16th. Miss Annie's out here all set up, kind of enjoying the sunshine. Yesterday she did a lot of eating. We kind of had to limit the food intake. We gave her food for 2 minutes and then took it away. Then another hour we would give her another 2 minutes eating, and she just would not stop. We eventually, later in the day, just gave her the bowl, and she stopped after maybe 4 or 5 minutes. And she was kind of lightly picking through her food and figuring out what she wanted. Seemed fine. This morning she was up on her perch, hopped down, and I noticed her left leg was kind of bugging her. It looks fine, didn't notice anything. And then when I was kind of messing with her last night and looking at her, I noticed she had some feathers ruffled up, and she definitely got attacked by something when she was hanging out in that backyard. She's got a big old knot gash across her back. It's scabbed over, but it doesn't look pretty. So I don't know. She's not really doing too much today. Yesterday she was pretty active. Today she's really lethargic. So sadly, I don't know if she's gonna make it, but at least she's got plenty of food, plenty of water. She's getting taken care of, but she just had it pretty rough. So she hasn't moved for the past 2 hours from this spot. She just laid down. She was standing up, but we'll see. Hope she can hang in there. Right, Annie girl? Poor chicken. Well, she gives me hope because she's at least eating and drinking and has an appetite. And she's, I mean, alert, but she just doesn't move or walk around. So I still think she doesn't feel so great, but I mean, yesterday she was acting like a normal chicken, completely fine. And today she's just really lethargic. So I don't know. I hope she makes it, but just a little weird acting. Hanging out with the chickens over at the main coop now, while Annie is relaxing and taking a nap. So I brought out a bag of food, and I've got to fill up the trash can again. Watch as I walk in here. All the chickens, they're gonna follow me in because they know treats are in this trash can whenever I walk towards it. You guys are smart, aren't you? You know what's in here. Everybody's coming in. All right, let me get you some treats. It's those mealworm things that they really like. All right. All right, now to make some more oatmeal for them, get them some more food, refresh the water. Still got to grab the eggs for the day and dump in that bag of food, and they're good. Okay guys, it is about 9:30 and Annie just seemed to perk up a few hours ago. Honestly, I thought she would be dead by the time I got back home. She looked pretty bad off this afternoon. She had her neck all stretched out, laying flat on the ground, breathing super hard. I thought that was the end. And then all of a sudden, now she's acting like a normal chicken again. And that limp, you can hardly even tell it's there. Because this morning it was extremely obvious. She barely used it. So now she's just kind of acting like a normal chicken. To help her foot or leg or whatever's going on, I got rid of her perch and I'm kind of using that to hold down a box so that way she's on something flat tonight. We'll see if that helps and she wakes up feeling good. But yeah, she's done a 180 and she's looking alive again. So I'm gonna check that crop. She's still kind of full, aren't you, girl? She's really sweet. So it's still full, but I'll check in the morning and see if it's empty. It should be empty. And if it's not, we'll give her a little bit of mineral oil, kind of loosen that up, but she's still eating and drinking, so I am hopeful. Why must you chickens dig holes in the yard? Come on, let's go up. Come on, chickens. Let's go. Up, 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 up. Come on. Good chickens. All right, nice and easy. Just giving a little bit of mineral oil to Annie here, just to help things kind of move on out a little easier for her. Well, you guys, today is August 18th. in less than 24 hours, I am going to have some property. So that's awesome. Closing day is tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that. Right now I'm just hanging out with the chickens over at the main coop and getting them all set up for the night. Annie's doing good. She's eating, drinking, moving. She's not looking dead today, so that's nice. A couple of people have been asking about One Eye. So the two chickens that I moved over, One Eye obviously with the one eye, and then a friend, which was another random chick that I put with her. They're both doing fine. It took a while to figure out why their water kept disappearing. I would put it out and then, I don't know, 15-30 minutes later it'd be completely dry. So I finally stood there and watched him, and One Eye would just kind of go in circles and wind it up, and then the water would kind of all splash out. So One Eye was kind of struggling with the water. I think I got it figured out now. And she also has a new name. My dad named both of them. So One Eye is now Jackie, and the other one is named Dusty. So those are their new names, and they're both doing fine over at my parents' coop. So things are good. I'm just looking forward to tomorrow, honestly. It's a big day. 10 o'clock is when we're going to start the closing process on the property. So I will keep you guys up to date on everything going on. But tomorrow's the day. Good morning, everybody. Today is August 19th. It is closing day. So out here checking on Annie really quick. She is slowly waking up. I just opened up a blind to get some light in here. I'm going to check her crop, make sure it's empty. If not, I'm going to give her a little more mineral oil, quick massage, and then she'll be set. Good morning, Annie girl. And then after that, I got to get ready and take off to the title company.